it's lovely to have you on Playtime Chats with us. Would you like to just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Hi Helen, yes, I'm from North Devon. I'm a farmer's wife and daughter, and I've got 3 children myself who are aged 8, 7 and 5.
Great. And what does your job involve? What do you do in North Devon?
So I work for the Diocese of Exeter. I'm a mission advisor for children and families, open brackets 0 to 5. My role is just so key because when talking to people, about 40% say that they actually came to faith before the age of 5. So at the Diocese of Exeter, we're really trying to hook into that and nurture it and equip families to be able to talk about faith, because about 73% say that it's families where they get their faith from. So my role looks at things like church toddler groups, it looks at baptisms, faith in the home, really young childhood spirituality, and it's also about the relational.
Now, I know you were gutted, weren't you, when lockdown back in March happened and your community were going to start up a new venture, weren't they? They were going to start up a swimming mission initiative.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and what that's involved.
We were going to start Aqua, Bears and Prayers. So across Devon, we've got quite a few Bears and Prayers groups. So that's where people come together, sing worship songs, pray and share Bible stories with tiny children. And it's all done through this bear figure. And I met a wonderful lady who is a children and families worker in mid Devon, and she's blessed to live on a holiday complex. And so she's got a swimming pool, and we were talking on a retreat and we just started sharing ideas, and we suddenly thought, wouldn't it be amazing to put Bears and Prayers in water? And so Aqua, Bears and Prayers came about because we were chatting about how it's really the fashion now for lots of families to go to baby swimming classes, and we know how busy everyone's lives are, so we want to help people find faith in the everyday. So if you're taking your child to a swimming lesson, why not take them to an Aqua, Bears and Prayers, and then you've got the double whammy of sharing faith and learning to swim, and just so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to take part in that. I love being in the water, and especially when my children were little, they just loved it. And it's a great way of connecting mums and dads together, families together, and just grow together. And that's where another support network can evolve as well, isn't it?
Definitely.
So could groups do this if they were thinking, oh, this sounds an amazing idea? Could they do it in their community leisure centres?
Yeah, I definitely think so. There's a few things to consider, like the temperature of the water, how the water's treated. But then you need to think very specifically about young babies. So are there things at a sensible height for changing your babies on? Is there enough room to park buggies? Is there appropriate lighting and ramps to get in? Is there room around the edge for other siblings? And I think something that I would really want to consider if I was choosing a venue is there a space afterwards? Because like you were saying, it's about building communities and networking. And a lot of this project's all about showing faith in the real life, so wanting to provide a warm welcome, wanting to show that God loves you and we love you, and so I'd want a space where after the lesson carers could meet together with the person that was running the group, have a chat, have a coffee. So yeah, I think as long as there was a pool with a lifeguard and you could go through your risk assessments, it could happen anywhere.
Brilliant. So within a session, what would that look like for people to think about?
So Steph was imagining that people would come to begin with, and there sort of be a soft start for people to come and change and chat and talk about how their week was going, and then the carer and baby would get in the water. They'd sing worship songs, really simple short ones, quite often ones that are set to nursery rhyme tunes that families are already going to be confident with that tune and just alter some of the words. And there'd be a sharing of a Bible story, and then there'd be some prayer time. so modelling, you know, how to pray with the very young, and then lots of fun in the water. So there'd be sort of baby sensory toys in the water, so, you know, using watering cans, using coloured streamers, using flashing lights that float, and then afterwards they'd get out and change, and then there'd be snack time and sharing of food and talking and support again.
So this is a fantastic way of connecting in a antenatal class then into your toddler group.
Definitely, yeah, I think so. And that's what Steph was really sort of imagining. I'll just read a quote from her. She was saying that faith is very much alive in our community, but we do need to get creative, and we've got to find ways to meet people where they are on their faith journey. And she says being in a swimming pool is lovely, but when you add in Bible stories and prayer, it really becomes something special. And she talks about, because so many Bible stories are set, you know, around the fishermen communities and water, by being in the water itself, it can really help bring the Bible stories to life. So yeah, I think it could be something really quite special.
And also it will be then stepping stones into other things as well. So what ideas have you got for that?
Yes, well, so we're really keen at the diocese to get this up and running. So we've given Steph a mustard seed grant of £500 so that she can really transform her swimming environment into something very special, because she wants to run baptisms at her pool. From doing some research in their community, she found that some parents and godparents were quite uncomfortable about promises they were making in that service. So she wants to provide a menu of baptism options. So, you know, at one end, just a simple naming ceremony, and then some that are more traditional liturgy, and then right at the other end, full immersion baptisms. So Steph is hoping that by babies coming to Aqua Bears and Prayers, it will get parents really thinking about faith, and then deciding that they want to make those promises and have a baptism, and then have the baptism in that pool. So the threshold then of church has been totally lowered. They know Steph, they know the building.
They've met the minister.
They've met the minister, and I just think it's, you know, the vision, isn't it, of every church. We get these families come for baptism, but they don't always stick with us. And I think a lot of that is possibly to do with relationships. So hoping that through Aqua Bears and Prayers, it's building really strong community links, which are then going to be more sustainable. So hopefully after baptism, they'll feel part of this community and think, I want to keep coming back to that place.
Great. I did a little bit of research before coming to speak to you, just to find out if there were any other groups or sessions up and down the country like this new venture that you're trying to do. And I couldn't find anybody that was doing it. So potentially this is the first swimming pool antenatal baby session in the UK, which would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
It really would be, yeah. And what would be more fantastic is, you know, when Steph's finally given it a go and launched her lovely thing, you know, we can then share, you know, what works well and what doesn't work well, and it would be wonderful to see them popping up over the whole country. That would be just so exciting.
It would be. Oh, Claire, thank you so much for inspiring us today. I'm sure that lots of people will have whet their appetite, sorry about the pun, to maybe have a little think about that they could do this in their area. We just wish you well in the future for it, and we do hope that not long or too far off that you can start it up and get it running. So thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Oh,
Take
you're
care.
very welcome. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Helen. Bye.